It was a warm summer morning at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan. The year was 1954, and the terminal buzzed with quiet efficiency. Travelers from all corners of the globe shuffled through immigration with briefcases, hats, and wide-eyed curiosity. Among them stood a middle-aged man, well-dressed, composed. His salt and pepper beard was neatly trimmed, his gray suit crisply ironed. Nothing about him screamed unusual until he handed over his passport. The immigration officer scanned the document. A slight frown curled at the corners of his mouth. The passport was from a country called Taured. He checked again, then again. There was no such country. The man spoke fluent French and Japanese, claiming this was merely a routine business trip, his third visit to Japan that year, he said. He had the calm confidence of a seasoned traveler. His wallet contained European currencies. His passport bore authentic-looking stamps, not only from Japan, but from various other countries. When they showed him a map and asked him to point out Taured, he did so immediately. He pointed to the small country nestled between France and Spain. "You mean Andorra?" the officer asked. The man shook his head. "No, that's Taured. It's been there for over 1,000 years." Silence. He grew increasingly confused. Irritated. His company supposedly awaited him at a Tokyo office. But when they called, no such company existed. The hotel he claimed to have booked had no reservation. His phone number didn't work. And yet, everything about him seemed real. His ID, his custom stamps, his quiet confidence. The authorities were puzzled. They escorted him to a nearby hotel room under light supervision. Just overnight, they said, while they verified his story. The next morning, he was gone. The room was locked from the inside. No way out, no balcony, no hidden door. His documents, gone too. Passport, wallet, briefcase, all vanished. And so the mystery of the man from Taured was born. A man who came from a country that didn't exist, left behind no trace, and was never seen again. Night fell gently over Tokyo, wrapping the city in a quiet veil of lights and shadows. While most travelers rested in their hotel beds or wandered neon-lit streets, the strange man from Taured sat in his temporary room, watched over by 2 immigration officers stationed discreetly outside his door. He had said very little since being brought in. Calm, not angry, not distress. He only kept repeating the same thing. "This has never happened before. Something must be wrong." The passport was still with the authorities. It was deep navy blue, made of high-quality leather. Inside, every detail was printed in French and another unfamiliar language, one that resembled Latin, but not exactly. Stamps from airports in London, Madrid, Tokyo, ... All properly dated, the ink aged like the real thing. Security features shimmered under UV light, just like a modern-day passport. Even more baffling, a custom stamp from Tokyo 6 months earlier. Yet no entry under his name existed in any Japanese immigration record. He had been here before, according to the paper, but not according to the system. One officer, a seasoned veteran of border control, whispered to his colleague, "If this is a forgery, it's better than anything I've ever seen." They called embassy after embassy. No one had ever heard of Taured. Some wondered, could it be a microstate? A lost kingdom? An isolated territory that had slipped through the cracks of history? But even Andorra had phone numbers, ambassadors, websites, addresses. Taured had nothing. Meanwhile, the man from nowhere remained composed. He asked politely for updates. He requested a newspaper. He even asked if he could smoke by the window. His voice was soft, rhythmic, like someone who believed in every word he said. Maybe, one of the officials thought, he's not lying. Maybe he truly believes Taured exists. And if that were true, where had he come from? That night, the 2 guards took turns watching his door. The room had no balcony, no secret exit, No vent big enough for a man to slip through. Still, by morning, he was gone. No security camera caught him leaving. The door had not been opened. The window was locked from inside. No fingerprints, no items, no clues remained. Even the clothes he'd worn were nowhere to be found. All that was left was the mystery. And for decades, the story would be whispered in forums, books, and midnight radio shows. Who is the man from Taured? Where did he go? And most of all, did his world ever exist? Time has a strange way of folding in on itself, quietly, secretly, without warning. And when the man from Taured vanished without a trace, people began to ask questions not just about who he was, but what he represented. Was it possible that he came from a parallel dimension, one eerily similar to ours? A world where most countries were the same, but with one crucial difference. Taured existed. Maybe in his timeline, the world map had shifted slightly. Maybe in his version of Earth, Taured wasn't a fiction, but a proud, 1,000-year-old nation nestled in the Pyrenees. Some theorists pointed to the Mandela effect, a phenomenon where large groups of people remember something differently than how it actually happened. Like the Berenstain Bears being remembered as Berenstein, or people remembering Nelson Mandela dying in prison when in fact he lived for decades after. What if the man from Taured had simply crossed timelines, slipped through a crack, a glitch, a momentary tear in the fabric of reality? Others believed he might have been a time traveler, perhaps sent from the future, an alternate one where Taured rose as a global power. Maybe he had accidentally arrived too early, long before his world existed, but then why did he disappear? If he truly had access to advanced technology or some unknown force, had he been retrieved, recalled to his own time? Or did he fade out of existence because his presence here was a cosmic mistake? Then came the interdimensional agent theory, a quiet fringe idea that he wasn't just lost, but sent to observe, to test, to see how Earth would respond to the impossible. And when the test was complete, he was extracted, no door opened. No plane flew him out, he simply ceased to be here. For some, the explanation was more grounded. They said he was a spy. The fake documents, the obscure story, the smooth confidence, it fit the profile. Maybe Taured was a cover, a test run for identity forgery, a Cold War tactic. But if that was true, why did he vanish? Even the most skilled agent couldn't walk through locked doors. And so the story lived on beyond rationality, beyond borders, beyond maps. Told in quiet corners of the internet, in late-night podcasts, and now in whispers meant for the sleeping. Some say if you listen closely enough, you can still hear him, flipping through the pages of a passport from nowhere, searching for a place that once was, but no longer is. Maps are how we try to control the world. Lines drawn with certainty, borders shaped by wars, treaties, and the silent agreement of nations. And yet, no map in all the vast libraries of Earth shows a country called Taured, not in the modern world, not in the ancient Atlases, not in digital databases or antique collections, but the man from Taured. He pointed with confidence, right there between France and Spain. His finger hovered over the tiny Pyrenees Mountains, where a real microstate called Andorra lies today, but he didn't say Andorra, he said Taured, as if that word had weight, as if it had history, as if it belonged. One official reportedly asked, "Do you mean Andorra?" And the man frowned. No, Taured has been there for over 1,000 years. His tone wasn't arrogant, it was genuinely confused. As if the map was wrong, as if this world was wrong. That moment still haunts historians of the strange. If Taured never existed, how did this man know its exact location? How did he carry a passport, currency, company papers, all tied to this ghost nation? Is it possible that somewhere in the cracks of reality, Taured does exist? a country where we never existed, where you might be the ghost. Some dream cartographers, yes, they exist, say that certain lands only appear when you sleep. Floating islands, forgotten kingdoms, coastlines you can't remember when you wake up. But while you're dreaming, they feel real, solid, warm with history. Taured, some suggest, might be one of those places. A land stitched into the subconscious of another world, flickering between dreams and daylight. Maybe the man didn't come through time. Maybe he didn't glitch across dimensions. Maybe he simply dreamed too deeply, and when he woke up, he was here, where no one had heard of Taured, where his country didn't exist, where the sky felt familiar, but the flags did not. Maps are mirrors. They show us what we believe is real. But what if we've forgotten something? What if our world once did include Taured? And over time, we just let it slip from memory? Somewhere out there, maybe in someone's dream tonight, a flag still flies over the rooftops of Taured. Its anthem still echoes in quiet city squares. And its people still speak a language that sounds like a lullaby. You can't quite remember when you wake up. The story of the man from Taured is not alone. Over the years, whispers of similar visitors have surfaced, quiet reports, buried in dusty archives, or passed down in faded conversations between border officers, police detectives, and night shift clerks. One such story emerged from Germany in the early 1850s. A man was found wandering in a small town, confused, speaking an unknown language. When questioned, he claimed he came from a country called Laxaria, a place that existed nowhere on Earth, he said, but always in the folds of the wind. No one could identify his tongue. Linguists were baffled. He vanished days later, last seen walking into a thick morning fog near the forest edge. His footsteps never turned back. Another tale, this time from Brazil, 1952. A man with dark skin, European features, and golden eyes appeared at the docks of Rio de Janeiro. He wore clothes that didn't match any known culture. No buttons, no zippers. Only a smooth, woven fabric that shimmered in sunlight. When asked where he was from, he replied in broken Portuguese, "From the edge, where the river falls upward." The police dismissed him as mentally unstable. He was taken to a local hospital. But that night, the nurse on duty claimed his bed was empty, sheets untouched, window locked. Only a single silver coin was found on the pillow marked with symbols no one could translate. Then there was the child in Sweden, 1996. A girl, around 8 years old, found wandering in the snow alone. She didn't speak Swedish or English, or any language known to the school or the nearby embassy. When they asked her name, she drew a series of geometric shapes in the snow. When they gave her a map, she pointed to the North Sea, then tapped a spot in the water. "That's where I'm from," she whispered. She stayed 2 nights in a shelter. And then, like the others, she was gone. What do all these stories have in common? No country, no records. No reason to exist, and yet they did. For a brief moment. They stood in our world, looked us in the eyes, and then quietly vanished. Perhaps we are not alone on this earth, not just in terms of creatures or aliens, but versions of people, from versions of worlds that lightly brush against ours in moments of weakness, and dreams, and silence. In sleep? Some believe these visitors arrive when the boundaries between worlds blur, during storms, during eclipses, or perhaps in the stillness of midnight when most of the world is asleep and reality is just flexible enough to let something slip through. So if you ever see someone staring blankly at a map or arguing that a country should be there when it's not, maybe don't correct them too quickly. They might be right. Just not in this version of the world. Sleep is more than rest. It is a passage, a mysterious threshold where reality softens and the impossible sometimes steps through. Every night, our minds drift away from the waking world into a realm of shadows and whispers. A place where time bends, memories blur, and the fabric of space seems thin. Could it be that the man from Taured and others like him arrived through this passage? Not by plane, nor by foot, nor by secret doors, but by slipping through the cracks of dreams. Scientists call this hypnagogia, the state between wakefulness and sleep. It is a liminal space where the brain flickers between worlds, where the veil between dimensions might be thinner. Many have reported strange sensations in this state, visions of places that don't exist, faces they can't recall upon waking, and a profound feeling of being watched or waiting. Some paranormal researchers believe this is the moment when realities overlap, when one foot is still in the known world and the other steps into the unknown. This twilight state might allow a visitor from another world to enter ours, briefly, unnoticed, before waking forces pull us back. The man from Taured might have been one such visitor, someone caught between realities, a traveler lost in the folds of time and space. His confident pointing to a non-existent country, his detailed documents, his calm demeanor, all signs of someone rooted in a different reality. A reality where his world was normal, where his country existed. When he woke up, he was here, where Taured was a ghost. If this sounds like fiction, consider this. What if your dreams are more than stories? What if they are gateways? Passages to worlds layered beneath our own, where forgotten nations still thrive, where time runs differently, where mysteries walk just beyond our sight, and sometimes those mysteries step into the light. Memory is a fragile thread. It weaves our identity, our history, our understanding of the world. But sometimes that thread unravels, slowly, silently, until parts of reality slip through the cracks. What if the land of Taured was once real? What if it existed in a time before our memories took hold? And what if, over generations, people forgot? Not just individuals, but entire societies. The collective forgetting. Scientists call this cognitive fade, the slow erosion of memories across time. Places disappear from maps, languages fall silent. Nations vanish, not by war or conquest, but by being forgotten. And forgotten things cease to exist in our reality. The man from Taured might have been a remnant, a living echo of a forgotten world. His detailed knowledge, his documents, his conviction that Taured existed, all signs that memory, at some level, can transcend time and space. But memory is tricky. It can create false realities. It can fabricate places and times. So, was he remembering a lost country? Or was he trapped in a delusion crafted by a fragile mind? Some psychologists suggest the man could have suffered from confabulation, a condition where the brain fills gaps in memory with fabricated stories, often very detailed and convincing. But confabulation rarely produces physical evidence like real passports and currencies. That's where the mystery deepens. Because physical proof implies more than just memory. It hints at something else. Maybe, just maybe, there are layers of reality intertwined with our own. Layers where forgotten memories linger, where lost nations breathe, where the impossible is possible. And maybe on rare nights, when you drift off to sleep, you visit them. Disappearances, they haunt our deepest fears. When someone vanishes, no clues, no farewells, no footprints, it feels like reality itself has swallowed them whole. The man from Taured didn't just arrive mysteriously, he vanished just as mysteriously. A locked hotel room, no exit, no secret passage, and yet gone. How? Some say it's impossible. Others say the universe has hidden corners where normal rules don't apply. Could he have slipped into a different dimension? A fold in space-time? A tear in the fabric of reality? Stories from around the world echo similar themes. People who vanish without a trace. sometimes near mysterious locations like forests, lakes, or ancient ruins. One theory suggests a place between worlds, a shadow realm where time stands still and those who enter can never return. Scientists call these spots thin places, locations where the veil between realities is thin. Some say we all have a thin place inside ourselves, a secret door waiting to open. What if a man from Taured found that door, stepped through it, and was pulled away? Disappearance is not always about leaving. Sometimes it's about being taken by forces we don't understand, and sometimes the only proof that someone was there is the mystery they leave behind. Before falling asleep, think, what if you're closer to that door than you realize? What if the quiet moments before sleep are when the universe reaches out, and the man from Taured is waiting just beyond the veil? There is something deeply soothing about mysteries. They invite us to dream, to imagine, to wander in shadows just beyond the edge of understanding. The man from Taured and stories like his remind us that the world is bigger than what we see, that some questions might never have answers, and that's okay. Because in the quiet moments before sleep, when the mind drifts and the heart slows, we are not afraid of the unknown. We are comforted by it. The unknown becomes a friend, a lullaby sung in whispers, a story told beneath the soft glow of moonlight. We are drawn to sleepy mysteries because they connect us to something timeless, something vast, something beautiful. Maybe, just maybe, the greatest mysteries aren't the ones we solve, but the ones we carry softly in our dreams. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember, the universe is full of doors. And sometimes, all it takes is a moment of sleep to step through. Fall asleep and imagine. Thank you for joining this journey into the unknown. The man from Taured remains a whisper in the shadows, an invitation to wonder. In a world obsessed with answers, sometimes the greatest comfort lies in questions. In the space between sleep and wakefulness, in the quiet mystery that surrounds us all. Sleep well, dream deeply, and never stop exploring the mysteries that call to you in the night. And if you enjoyed this story, remember to like, subscribe, and share, because every mystery is better when shared. Good night from Sleepy Mysteries. May your dreams carry you to places unknown.